Thank you, Fred, for your tremendous leadership and for your very generous words of introduction to Brian and Corey, to George, to all of the New York letter carriers who are in the building today. We so appreciate you, each and every one of you who are gathered for this tremendous national convention. Are the letter carriers in the house right now? Do you believe that union power can get things done? Is it time to put people over politics in the United States of America? What an honor to have this opportunity to speak to you for a few moments during a critical time here in the United States of America. Thankful for all that you do. On behalf of the people that I represent and Americans all across this great nation. You know, I grew up in Brooklyn. My mother, my father, my mother would make sure that we went to Sunday school, it seemed like almost every week. Week after week after week, month after month, year after year. I'm thankful for it now, but we never missed a Sunday. And you know, as you're young boys, you're trying to process this, and there was a point that my younger brother and I concluded that we were like mail carriers for the Lord. Mail carriers for the Lord. Why did I say that? Because it didn't matter if it was raining, snowing, sleeting, or hailing. If it was Sunday morning, we were going to church. And what an amazing thing that for the American people, the point of comparison, the baseline for what dedication and commitment and hard work means is the work that letter carriers do each and every day, each and every week, each and every month, each and every year. That's the baseline for dedication and commitment and hard work. You know, growing up in that church, the Cornerstone Baptist Church, I had a Sunday school teacher. She once said to me, "Jeffries, on the question of public speaking, always remember, be brief, be bright, and be gone." And so I just have a few words to share with you on today. Again, as I once said on the House floor, when I talked about how intimate the Postal Service and its employees are in this country, the Postal Service was one of the very few institutions actually referenced in the United States Constitution during the founding of the Republic. Dr. Ben Franklin, of course, was the first Postmaster General. I used to remark what a difference we went from Ben Franklin to so-and-so who occupies the position right now. But notwithstanding his presence, we've still gotten big things done for you. And we're going to continue to do that work because of the value of what you bring to the table. And I'm also thankful to be here because I was raised in a union household by two parents, both of whom were public employees, like all of you. And in 1967, they were members of the Social Service Employees Union in New York. In 1967, shortly after they got married as newlyweds, their union decided to go out on strike to fight for better pay, better benefits, better working conditions. That's what unions do. But as newlyweds, they had an interesting decision to make. Because since they were both employed together, if they went out on strike, it was unclear where the money would come from to pay the bills. And so the question was, would they cross the picket line, thinking about their own temporary, narrow self-interest? Or would they stand in solidarity with their union brothers and sisters? When I learned about this later on in life, I'm so thankful that they made the decision to stand in solidarity with their union brothers and sisters. What a foundation for me. And I'm glad they did so. I'm glad they stood with the union, because the union has always been there for my family. And in the 1970s, my younger brother was born with a difficult heart condition. And thankfully, he's okay right now. But it was that union-negotiated health care that allowed our family to make it through. And you know, and then in the 80s, my parents bought their first home on a very modest income in a working class neighborhood in central Brooklyn, the home that they continue to live in today, where my brother and I were raised. They were able to do it and pay the bills, pay the mortgage because of their union negotiated salary. And then in the 90s, after we graduated from college, my brother and I, we were a little bit confused as to how it was that my parents were able to send us both to college and graduate without any student loan debt on their modest salaries. So one day I asked my mom, "How did you pull it off?" She said, "Son, it was simple. I just borrowed against my union negotiated pension to make sure that my boys wouldn't have any student debt when they graduated." So here's the thing. You don't ever have to worry about whether Hakeem Jeffries is going to stand up for you and organized labor, because organized labor has always stood up for me. And that is what you do each and every day, each and every week, each and every month, each and every year for the American people and everyday Americans. And I'm thankful and grateful for that. Grateful for your work. I'm here. I know you're going to hear from some other dignitaries. So grateful to be here with Liz Shuler, a tremendous champion for working people, for organized labor. I'm really just her warm-up act. But I would like to share with you a perspective about the moment that we are in, a very difficult moment in America, where not everybody shares our values. And I say that thankful for being able to serve in Congress at such a difficult moment, but recognizing that while we're trying to move the country forward, there's some people who want to turn back the clock. We're trying to bring people together, and others are tearing us apart. We're fighting for the people, others fight for the privileged few. We believe in the public interest, others are all about the special interests. We fight for the least, the lost, and the left behind. There are others in Washington who are all about the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. We believe in Social Security and Medicare. There are others who are trying to take those things away. We believe in a woman's freedom to make her own reproductive health care decisions in the United States of America. And we're going to stand by that freedom. While there are others who want to criminalize abortion care and impose a nationwide ban. We believe that we have to address the climate crisis with the fierce urgency of now. There are others who are burying their heads in the sand. We believe in the right and your freedom to negotiate. There are others who want to take away your ability to collectively bargain. But because we believe at the end of the day in putting people over politics, I'm confident that as long as we continue to stick together, to stand up and show up and speak up, that at the end of the day, the people will always prevail. That's our guiding principle. And I believe that that will be the case standing together with you because our values are American values. They are shared by the American people broadly. We believe in a country that provides for the poor, works for working families, makes sense for the middle class, and stands up for senior citizens. We believe in a country that innovates in the inner city, strengthens suburban communities, and revitalizes rural America. We believe in a country with liberty and justice for all, equal protection under the law, and government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And we believe in putting people over politics and lower costs, better paying jobs, safer communities. And as a result of our For the People agenda, led by President Biden in partnership with all of you, we've been able to get things done for everyday Americans. We passed the American Rescue Plan, saved the economy, which was on the brink of collapse, put shots in arms, money in pockets, kids back in school. We passed the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act to fix our crumbling bridges, roads, tunnels, airports, our mass transportation system, water and sewage system, bring internet access to every single community, and create millions of good-paying jobs. We passed the CHIPS and Science Act so we can bring domestic manufacturing jobs back to the United States of America. We passed gun safety legislation for the first time in 30 years that will save lives and also make sure that our kids and our parents and others can hopefully feel safe as you pursue life, liberty, and happiness in America. And I'm particularly proud of the fact that against all odds in this Congress, despite the war on all of you and the post office that had been launched for decades, we passed the Postal Service Reform Act of 2022 in the United States of America to make sure that all of you will be treated with the dignity and respect that you deserve because of your hard work and keeping the people of the United States of America connected. We did that together. Thank you for your work in keeping the American people connected. And we will ensure, despite the efforts by some, we will never let a single person in the United States Congress get anywhere close to privatizing the United States Postal Service. Not now, not ever. We'll continue our work on Social Security and federal retirement and the reforms that are necessary in that regard. Because you are, as I believe, so connected to the heartbeat of the United States of America, to who we are as a people. And as I prepare to close, let me just make one last observation. We're also going to continue to fight for our democracy. It may not be perfect, but it's the greatest democracy in the history of the world, and it is worth fighting for. In the midst of difficult time, I was on the floor of the House of Representatives on January 6th. That fateful day, I'll never forget it. We were debating the objections, so-called objections, to the state of Arizona. It's the first state in the alphabet in terms of the election objections that were being waged. And I was seated in the leadership section close to Steny Hoyer and Jim Clyburn. And I'll never forget, the Sergeant at Arms interrupts the debate and says, the mob has breached the Capitol. They're on the second floor, a few steps outside of the House chamber. Be prepared to hit the ground and secure the gas masks that are underneath your seats. I got to be honest with y'all, I'd been in the House at that point for over 4 terms. I had no idea there were gas masks underneath each and every seat. And so, Fred, at that point, I knew that things were about to get serious. And then I see Speaker Pelosi, I'd never seen this before, almost violently removed from the rostrum. And then the security team for Steny Hoyer, the number 2 Democrat in the Congress, the majority leader, comes and gets him. And then I'm right next to Jim Clyburn, the number 3 Democrat. Catherine Clark, my good friend and colleague, a friend of the letter carriers, she's the number 4 Democrat, the assistant speaker. She was off campus that day. So I'm right next to Clyburn, and his security team comes to get the majority whip and says, "Sir, you have to leave now." So I'm sitting there, and remember, y'all, I'm the chair of the House Democratic Caucus. I'm the number 5 Democrat, so I see Speaker Pelosi removed. She's number 1. I see Steny Hoyer removed. He's number 2. Jim Clyburn, the great Jim Clyburn, removed. He's number 3. Catherine Clark, she wasn't there, number 4. I'm sitting there as the chair of the House Democratic Caucus. I'm waiting for somebody to come get me. But Brian, they never came. So I'm saying to myself, well, it's a good thing I'm from Brooklyn. Because we have to be prepared to fight for our democracy. And thankfully, after what seemed like an eternity, they evacuated us to a secure location. We were there for hours as the Capitol was being cleared, but I share that story not because we were run off the floor of the House of Representatives. I share that story because the most important thing that happened that fateful day, this is the resilience of you all and the American people. The most important thing that happened that fateful day is not that we were run off the floor of the United States House of Representatives, but that we came back to the Capitol, we completed our work, we certified the election, and we made sure that Joe Biden would become the President of the United States of America so we could continue to do the good work on your behalf and fight for everyday Americans. That's what America, that's what you all are all about. God bless you. God bless the letter carriers, and God bless the United States of America.